Before we dive into today's episode, if you're a coach who wants a simple roadmap to turn your coaching vision into a life-first business, make sure you grab a copy of my free Spacious Business Blueprint. It's a one-page planning tool, plus a short training that walks you through the 7 core foundations that create steady client flow. So if things have been feeling scattered or heavier than you know they should, this is going to help you step back, look at the big picture, and see exactly what needs your focus right now. The link to grab your copy is in the show notes. All right, let's get into today's episode. All the things that make you a really great coach, the fact that you are a deep thinker, you're reflective, you're analytical, you're intelligent, you're highly trained, you're probably academic, you're very comfortable with deep and nuanced conversations, all those things that make you a great coach can actually trip you up when it comes to marketing, because the way you communicate inside a coaching session is very different to the way that you communicate in marketing. So in coaching, depth is really important, complexity is important, layers and nuance is vital. But in marketing, what wins is simplicity and clarity and specificity. And I think where a lot of coaches are making marketing harder than it needs to be is where they're too clever and their skills in coaching are actually stopping them from approaching marketing in the most simple way. So today we're going to be looking at simplifying marketing by being less clever, being more simple. So let's dive in. Welcome to the Life First Coaching Business Podcast, where ambitious, purpose-led coaches trade hustle and burnout for simplicity, freedom, and clients who light them up. I'm Leonie, ex-architect and business owner turned business coach, and just a little bit obsessed with online business strategy. If you're craving a business that feels spacious, joyful, and actually fun, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll be diving into the strategies, the systems, and the mindset you need to make your coaching business work for you. So let's dive in. Hello and welcome to today's episode. If you're brand new here, welcome. And if you're a long-time listener, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're talking about marketing and why clever marketing might be blocking you from clients. And the reason that is because when you're in the mindset of someone who's consuming content, they're in a problem phase, and let's say we're marketing on social media, where a lot of us are growing our audience and growing our business and getting visible, when people are on those platforms and in that mindset, they're often scrolling, they're not in a place of real deep thinking. And what you're aiming to do there is capture them and bring them into a place where you are sharing that more deep thinking and deep knowledge. But when you're capturing them, especially someone that's never heard of you before, you really have a very limited amount of time to get their attention. And on top of that, they're often maybe distracted, maybe overwhelmed, they're busy, they're scrolling quickly, and subconsciously they're thinking, is this piece of content for me? And if you don't capture them really quickly, then you'll lose them and they'll scroll by. And while I'm not one who loves to talk about trending tactics, it is important to differentiate the way that you're communicating according to where you're capturing people. So specifically those cold audiences or where you're trying to generate leads, you really need to pull them in quickly. And that is often about simplifying things and cutting through the noise and being more direct and being more specific. And that recognition usually comes from using much more simple language, direct communication, real life examples, and talking to your ideal clients in the way that they would talk themselves, or more specifically, the thoughts they're having in their head and the things they're saying to themselves. So that's what you want to be getting to the heart of in your content and in your marketing and specifically in your messaging. And bringing it down from more deep emotional language, deep transformations or broad transformations or very intellectual messaging and complicated concepts, and actually the day-to-day things that are going on for your ideal client, the thoughts they're having in their head about their problem, their desires, and what they need to know in order to go deeper into your world. So for them to think, oh yeah, this is me. I'm going to pay attention here. I want to know more. Sparking curiosity. It's not about giving them every bit of detail and information they need the second that they land on your information. So where you might be overcomplicating your message is in that more intellectual, sounding insightful, sounding intelligent, wanting to let people know that you know what you're talking about, you are an expert. And that is important, but it's not important the minute that someone lands on your profile, lands on your content. So that can lose them too quickly, because if it's making them have to think hard, it's likely that they're going to scroll by. So we really want to be using more specific language. So some examples there, maybe instead of saying, feel more aligned or step into alignment, you might be saying, stop overthinking every decision, or feel more authentic in your life. Might be start having conversations that actually excite you and light you up, or reconnect to yourself. Might be have things going on in your life that actually feel exciting and adventurous again. Or stop feeling like you're just going through the motions of every single day, or waking up on a Monday and thinking, oh, here we go again. Have things going on that actually make you want to jump out of bed and get into your day. So simple messaging isn't less intelligent, it's more effective communication for the specific situation when you're trying to attract the right person for your coaching. That's not about telling them everything about what you do and everything about your expertise. It's about making them think, this is me, I'm going to lean in very quickly and very instantly. So a little audit you can do there is to think about maybe your social media profile or some of the content that you've put out recently. Could a stranger instantly understand, this is for me, this is the problem it solves, this is the outcome it helps create? And if not, if you feel like it's quite broad, it's quite vague, it's more top level, then how could you simplify it? How could you make it more specific? How could you bring in real life examples or day-to-day shifts and changes? And how could you make it more specific to your ideal client? And then somewhere else where you might be overcomplicating your marketing is over-teaching. So if your content is becoming big downloads or deep thinking or almost mini sessions or mini trainings, it can often be too mentally heavy or hard to follow or overwhelming for someone who's in that mindset of looking for information that's relevant to them. So different stages of trust require different depths of information. In that early stage, it should be about clarity and resonance and creating a desire and creating curiosity to know more. So that could be just talking to, if you're this person that's experiencing this problem, welcome to my page. Something like that. It's so simple and it takes you 5 minutes to create. And that's actually going to be more effective than something that's really deep and giving them lots of information when it's on a social media platform. And that might take them to a longer piece of long form content. And if that's something you're interested in and you haven't listened to it yet, I recently did a whole series on creating a calm, evergreen content engine for your coaching business. That sets this out, pulling people from those short form pieces of content into more deep content. And so that's where you really want to be thinking, what is the mindset that someone's in when they're finding me? And am I trying to offload too much information or be too clever and deep thinking too soon? So just think, your content doesn't need to answer every single question, but it just needs to create enough interest that someone wants to hang around and learn more. And then the third way you might be overcomplicating your marketing is in assuming what your ideal client wants to hear. The best messaging will come from learning what your ideal clients want to hear by reflecting their words, and the things that they're telling you are their problem or their desire or the things they think are keeping them stuck, and actually using their words and their experiences to inform your messaging. So every time you're having those conversations with clients or potential clients, really listening in to what they're telling you and picking out the interesting and specific situations, that's going to add much more resonance to your content, and it's going to help it stand out because it will give people that instant, oh yes, that's me, I relate to that so much, I know exactly what that feels like. So maybe rather than saying, I'm feeling overwhelmed, maybe they're saying, I feel like I've got 20 tabs open in my head at any one time. I think I actually said this to someone yesterday myself. So how are they describing what they're feeling? Things like your discovery calls, your DMs, your comments, conversations are absolute gold when it comes to your messaging and picking out those key points. So the key lesson is make it simpler, talk in your ideal client's language when they're having a casual conversation, not when they're in a coaching session. And honestly, this is going to make your marketing more effective. Trying to say less, but saying it with more specificity and everyday language, everyday situations, describing what things actually look like in your ideal client's day-to-day life before and after solving their problem, the problem that you help them solve. That's going to make things much more resonant. It's going to make you stand out, and it's going to help you attract people that feel really seen and heard in what you're creating. And it'll be quicker as well because you're simplifying things, you're making things less complicated for yourself, which saves you time, saves you energy, and preserves those precious things for your client work instead of your marketing. So if you want marketing to feel simpler and more effective, I hope this has been helpful for you. I've got something coming up that's going to be even more helpful, a free training on the 3rd of June called the Calm Client Attraction System for Coaches. Messaging is just one of the things that we're going to be touching on in that free training. I'm going to be talking to you about how to simplify your whole marketing strategy, how to do things in the right sequence and order in your coaching business so that you can get client flow coming into your business predictably in the most direct way. We're going to be talking about turning marketing into a clear, calm, structured, repeatable system in your business so that it's not overwhelming, it's not taking over your whole life, and it's effective and it works and it helps you build your life first coaching business. So if you want to save your seat for that, head to my website, leoniebusinesscoach.com, and there's a banner at the top you can click on to save your seat. I'll also include the link in the show notes, and you can also DM me over on Instagram as well. So I'd love to see you there at that training. There will be a replay if you can't attend at the specific time, but there's some great bonuses for people who are there on the live, and you'll get the most out of it if you are able to put that time aside and come along live. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the end. If you know another coach who would find this helpful, please share it with them as well. And I'll catch you again soon. Take care. This episode was brought to you by the Life First Coaching Business Playbook, the program for coaches who are ready to turn their coaching expertise into a business that actually works. Inside, you're not just learning what to do, you're building your business with all the tools, templates, and steps you need to implement with ease. Plus, you get ongoing support from me so you never get stuck on a decision or lose momentum along the way and can keep moving forward. You'll refine your niche and message, you'll create a compelling signature offer, and put a simple marketing system in place so you can attract clients consistently. So if you're ready to build a business that feels simple, spacious, and actually good to run, you can find the link to all the details in the show notes.